So the way I like to introduce myself is I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a colleague, I'm a neighbor. I love traveling, I'm an introvert. I create trouble in a lot of spaces. I love math. Math is my passion. I love mystery thriller audiobooks. My favorite color is green. I used to be able to see when I was younger. If you ever want to make me happy, feed me chicken. I love nature. I love horses. I'm a woman. I'm Muslim. I'm blind. I'm a person with this disability, and I'm very, very proud of it. So that's who I am. But also I'm the US Special Advisor on International Disability Rights. So when I was 7 years old, I had lost 98%. I had 2% usable sight until college. That's when I lost it completely. I just had light perception. So in entering college, it was a new phase in life. I was living on campus in the dorms. It was scary like anyone else, right? Like, oh my God, new space, new life, I have to make new friends. And also I was grappling with my identity as a blind person because that's when I really had to depend on my cane. I had to learn the campus, and to be honest, it was challenging in many ways from an emotional perspective because I had to really come to a point to say, you know what, my blindness is part of my identity. I will be able to make friends. I will be able to do my classes. I just have to find the right people, the right support system. I was a math major in college, and I was the first blind student that majored in math at Wellesley College. So it was a learned experience for everyone, but again, because of the laws in the US, the school had to figure it out. We had a disability center to make sure that I got the resources and to do my classes. But again, it was not easy. And I think my college years were the years that really defined a lot of what I do and who I am right now. I think when we look at inclusive education, it's physical accessibility, it's technological, ensuring all the materials and technology that we use are inclusive and accessible. It's the curriculum, it's making sure teachers know how to be inclusive to everyone. It's the culture within the system, the narrative. It's a holistic. A lot of people just focus on, oh my God, we have an inclusive school. There we go, it's a wheelchair accessible, and there we go. It's more than that. So it's a holistic approach. Technology is an important element of our education and will continue to be a bigger part of our future education. So there's two layers. How do we ensure any technological platform or AI platforms that you use for the education as an educational tool for students are inclusive and accessible for students with disability? And the second layer is how do we provide assistive technology additional that allows for different types of individuals to access materials. For instance, me as a blind person, the way I access the computer is I use a screen reader software called JAWS, and that helps me navigate my computer, my email, the websites, etc. Well, young people, if they're exposed to inclusive education and inclusive schools, they will develop it naturally because they will be with students with and without disabilities, and that in itself develops an expectation and a norm that our society is comprised of people with and without disability. And it's not seen as an odd thing, as a different thing, it becomes a norm. We need to really create a space to have the difficult conversation. Why is disability left out of the climate solution conversation? Why is disability left out of trade conversations? AI, digital economy transitions and frameworks. We need to really have those difficult conversations. Whether people think we're costly, different, add-on burden, need to be pitied, etc. But then also the second step is how do we create shared responsibility? Again, a lot of times it falls on the shoulders of us, the disability community, or maybe the Ministry of Social Affairs, right? How do you have all ministries think about disability? Like the AI ministries? How do you have all private sectors? How do you have mainstream civil society? I've had many conversations with mainstream civil societies that are not thinking about disability through their lens. How do you have startup companies think about disability? So again, creating shared responsibility, but an important sector that could play a huge role is the media sector. Having journalists like you that can really share this knowledge and this perspective and be able to promote disability inclusion. And then the last part is then building capacity. So in our office, what we've done is we've mapped out what are spaces that are not thinking about disability in foreign policy, and how do we target those spaces? How do we insert ourselves? How do we find allies that can open doors for us to enter? And how do we find allies that can build capacity to carry this work forward with us? Any work that you are doing, whether it's a company or NGO, bring the disability community from the get-go in designing your product or service, making sure their lens and their perspective is at the table. From designing to testing to implementation to evaluation, the disability community need to be part of this process. You know how there's a phrase nothing about us without us? I want to get to a point where it's like nothing without us, nothing without the disability community. So any company, any NGO, bring the disability lens from the beginning. I'm stubborn, I'm an introvert, big picture thinker, creative and don't like to be constrained. Maybe also passionate too. I forget that, I'm super passionate.